The DWI facility is set up to have people examine, the things that brought them to alcohol and to drugs, and to really take a careful look at their lifestyle and to make changes in those lifestyles. We say that the only thing you have to change is everything.
I spent when I was younger, I had a problem with drugs, and I was able to get away from that. And I remember when I was younger, I had a counselor tell me when I went to a Phoenix house that I'd never be able to drink safely. And I always told them that I would. That wasn't my drug of choice or substance of choice. And my addictive behavior just picked up drinking and took off with it.
Well, I'm 54 years old. I drank alcoholically for 21 years. And I think what started my alcoholism that really triggered off was my divorce.
Drinking was peer pressured, high school days. I knew I had a problem with, well, my parents knew I had a problem with alcohol when I was still in high school. My father was the first person to try to get me sober. Not even sober, just drink responsibly. And breaks my heart that he never saw me get sober.
I had a few things happen in my life. I was in a relationship for 7 years. She had an abortion, and I just went off the deep end. And I started to drink continuously over and over again. And when I drank, things turned violent, and I got charged with an assault. And I ended up in the DWI facility.
Going through the divorce, I felt abandoned, lonely. Even though I had 2 children, it kind of skyrocketed.
And I started living a lifestyle that wasn't even accepted by society. And there was no rules there. So it just escalated to the point of a basic crash and burn, so to speak.
I was sitting in Riverhead, and the night I had got arrested, they had set a low bail. And I had been arrested. I'd been going in and out of jail since I was, I figure 16 years old was my first arrest. And I was sitting in CI court, and I was down in the cell waiting to be transported to Riverhead. And I realized that everybody walking into the cell had this worried look on their face, and they were upset about where they were going. And what scared me is the fact that I was comfortable.
And then finally the day when I did get arrested, I hit 3 parked cars. I get out of my car, I looked up at the sky and said, I can't do this anymore.
I was drinking for about 38 years, and after my, I think it was 5th DWI, I had a slew of felony arrests, felony convictions, incarcerations, county times a few times, state time.
And when I picked my head up and I realized that at that moment, you know what, it was time for a change. And I finally had become institutionalized. And it's not the way I wanted to live my life, and I was scared. Jail never scared me, that scared me.
Oh my goodness, it's the person that I used to be doesn't exist anymore, without a doubt. My life has been so much better in sobriety. I was able to go back to school. I became a substance abuse counselor, which is a wonderful feeling, but my sobriety does come first. If I don't put my sobriety first above anything, anybody, family members, I will not have anything today.
It was the fact that I was setting my life back again another 4 or 5 years. And by the time I would get my license back, by the time everything was all said and done. So you know what, I felt that I needed a change. And to achieve that change, I had to change my behavior. And through good counseling, I found out to change your behavior, you have to change your thinking. And that was it. I had some good counselors. I was out in the DWI facility. And they told me that you have to change your thinking, that's where it starts.
And I had tried AA prior to my last arrest, but I wasn't willing. And I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. So at that moment was the turning point.
Well, certainly going to a counselor is really important, to see somebody, to get some help, to identify what those issues may be. But when rehabs are asked nationally what's the most effective program, they generally report that it's 12-step recovery.
I do a lot of service. I go to the DWI facility every other Saturday night. I bring AA in, I bring speakers in. Because the time that I was in the DWI facility, the girls look forward to having somebody from the outside come in and speak with the girls. And it's a wonderful feeling because you give the other girls hope. They see somebody like me that's gone through the whole entire program and then come out and do well for themselves. but I give it all to Alcoholics Anonymous.
We do believe that you can't keep your recovery and you can't keep your sobriety unless you give it away to others. That's really a key to how this whole thing works.
I was willing to change. I was willing to change my thinking, you know, and with some work and good counseling, change my behaviors.
From my own experience, I've gone through the rehabs. What worked for me was AA, but what most of all worked for me was finally doing it for myself and doing it for the right reasons. And they ask a question in AA. They actually ask 2 questions to qualify someone, and one of the questions is, what are you willing to do to stay sober? And the answer, the way I look at it and I tell people this, it's the same answer, but it can be, someone could give it 2 different ways. The answer for myself is anything. And I remember I used to say anything because I knew that was the right answer. Today I say anything because I truly do mean anything. And the best advice I could give somebody, anything for it, is as long as you're willing and you've had enough, is to do anything. You know, whatever is suggested. Alcoholics Anonymous has worked for me.
I believe in service. I do a lot of service. Alcoholics Anonymous saves my life every single day.
Service is really one of the keys. There are a couple of keys. One is service, one is a connection to a higher power. And the other part of it is really doing it, getting into action, not just talking about it, sitting on our laurels. And these 3 folks are really, really in the very, very top percentile, day at a time doing this, the way it's supposed to be done. They're an incredible inspiration for me on how to do this, and for everybody else who comes to the DWI facility, and for the counselors as well.